Guys, what you call a cow that has no legs? You call it ground beef. And welcome to another Wednesday masterclass here in the Hospitality Fitness community, where we're helping hospitality leaders like you losing weight and getting physically and mentally stronger. So if you're new to the group, welcome to the group. I'm happy to have you here. And if your goal is to lose a little bit of weight to improve psychologically and physically, then you are absolutely in the right place. All right, so today's topic is really, really important because we are now entering what it is the worst season of the year in terms of health and wellness, and also a very busy season for hospitality leaders like you, which makes everything a little bit worse. And for that reason, I want to help you. I want to help you preparing for this upcoming period, and I want to help you in this masterclass with some powerful advice that's going to save your life in this upcoming weeks towards the end of the year. And so today we're talking about the reasons why people usually fail in their health ahead of this festive season, how you can prepare for that, and how you can make sure you don't put on extra weight, and finally, how you can actually go against all odds and improve physically and psychologically during this period. And the reasons why people fail during this period, especially you being in hospitality. And I want to start by mentioning basically all the reasons why people in general fail throughout this season. And although seasonal weight varies from person to person, there have been different surveys among the years that show that people will gain an average of 5 to 7 pounds during the winter. And the reason being, first, the cold weather, because the cold weather makes people less likely to leave their comfort zone because it's cold, so people will be less active. The days are shorter, so people get less motivated in the mood to walk around and do things outside and going to places. People will eat more as well because it's cold, and because it's cold, bring in the mac and cheese, so people consume heavier foods as a result. And people are in general more vulnerable to all the food marketing that you see on the TV and all over the place. You get all these promotions. You buy 2 and take 300, flashing lights all over the place, pointing to the chocolate Santas and the pastries and all this shiny Christmassy stuff, and which makes the supermarket actually a dangerous place to go in terms of health, but also in terms of wallet. And so people get into this celebration mode and less prone to healthier routines. You just shut down anything that's healthy, and it's like time stops, and all of a sudden you wake up in January and you're a little bit heavier and perhaps a little bit depressed. And people don't tend to start new projects in general, not only in health, but in general. People don't start big things before the year ends, just like throughout this period, because they just press pause. So the mindset is not there. Now, these are just the basic reasons and overview why people don't get healthier during the season and why they are likely to put on a couple of pounds. This is nothing new for you, but I want to go over the reasons why it's especially difficult for you being in hospitality. Why is it even harder for you? And so the number one is that people are usually busy. People in hospitality are usually busy attending normal population that's on holiday or festive period, going to hotel or restaurants, because while they're having fun, we are serving them and we are still working. And this is good because it means that it's a busy season. It's good for the prosperity of the hospitality businesses. But it also means that there's extra bakery and sweets and all these typical foods all around. There's more production of those goods, and therefore there's more leftovers. And also you always have these usual co-workers that always like to bring their own cakes and sweets, etc. And hey, look at this banana bread that I baked for everyone, and guess what, I'm gonna have 7 slices of that just to make sure I like it. And this is usually what happens during the year anyway, but even more so during the festive season. And for a lot of you, there's more opportunities also to taste new menus, especially if you're working in food and beverage. You got the new festive season menu, and everyone is super excited about the new dishes available and the opportunity to remake those dishes that only make sense during Christmas and New Year season. And thirdly, basically to top it all up, this is the time of the year where you get more HR initiatives towards employees, bringing in the extra calorie, high calorie dishes, the staff parties, the staff dinners, the cakes and champagne for the staff. And in a lot of places, you also get a little bit of a monetary bonus. And there's a lot of reasons why you're not really thinking about saving at this time of the year. So you're probably going to spend a little bit of that bonus in gifts and food and drinks. And those food and drinks are probably from the indulgent nature. But nothing wrong with this. And I think you got my point by now. And I want to ask, before I dive into the next topic, does this happen to you as well? Do you got employee initiatives and in consequences, more things to indulge? Do you get new menu tastings at this time of the year? Is there cake all over the place and chocolate Santas? If that's the case, let me know. I'd love to know if that's the case with you. Drop me a festive in the comments below. So now that I told you why people fail during this season and why this is potentially so hard for you, what can you actually do to mitigate the damage during this season without obviously sacrificing everything that you currently enjoy? And that's the point here, okay? And here are some easy and non-painful tips. The first thing is obviously to find more ways to be more active. And in this sense, try to be a little bit more creative, because the weight gain during this season is not only due to increase of high calorie food consumption, but also to the increased sedentary lifestyle in the winter, which contributes to weight gain. And so if you're aware of this tendency, that's already a start. Just make sure you're not sitting on your sofa all the time. Try to be on your feet and get some movement. I know it's cold and I know that you're tired, but if you move only 2% of your day, that's already 28 minutes. If you move during 28 minutes each day, that's already really good for you, and it's going to balance out the calorie expenditure. And this is something really easy to do. You also have all kinds of winter activities that you can do in family or in friends. So basically be a little bit more creative with the way that you want yourself to move. So you can just Google right now winter activities nearby, and I'm sure you'll find something that you can plan and get yourself moving a little bit more throughout this period. And also we'll give you exciting opportunities to take more pictures and create more moments. And so the second thing would be to put on rules as to when you can go off track. And so you don't do it every day and all the time for no reason. You don't want to be snacking all the time. So otherwise, instead of you putting 10 extra pounds, you'll end up with 20 extra, something you don't want to deal with in the future. Okay, so a simple rule for you to apply would be something in sort of, I don't eat anything that has processed sugar before dinner on Wednesdays, and you already gave yourself a rule to follow. And so if you are good at keeping your commitments, and you'll be successful at doing this, and that's awesome for you. You can also go a step further and say, I will not eat any processed foods and sugars except on Sundays, Christmas, and New Year. And you already have some exceptions. You find yourself a way where you're actually not giving up on anything. Okay. And as I said, if you're good at keeping your word, then you'll be successful at this. All right. Now, thirdly, and as I mentioned here a gazillion of times, this is the perfect way to utilize intermittent fasting, because it's the only nutrition strategy where you can actually eat more of the things you like without regretting. But I'm not going to go over intermittent fasting today. I've talked about it for 5 videos. So if you scroll down below, you'll see plenty of videos of me going through how this works, or you can just simply Google intermittent fasting and see what it's all about. Now, another very important thing would be, and this is a highly underrated, keep your water intake high, because quite often you think you're hungry, but you're just dehydrated, okay? And most people suffer from chronic dehydration, which causes fatigue and headaches and all of that. So just keep a bottle of water with you at all times, keep sipping water during the day. And if you think like you're having those, food cravings, just drink a big glass of water and wait 10 minutes and you'll see how that goes away. All right. And speaking of cravings, I got a pro tip for you. One of my favorite things to skip sugar cravings, I think works really well, is cinnamon. Okay. I used to bring a little jar with cinnamon with me to the hotel, and I used to have it with some yogurt or with some fruit after lunch and completely eliminate my sugar cravings. And this is incredible, because I tried this just to try it out. And actually, when I'd done some research about it, it's because cinnamon has awesome properties that reduce blood sugar levels. And so that's the reason why it's so good at killing the craving. So give that one a go. If you like cinnamon, it's awesome. You can even mix it up with tea and will do the same effect. And last but not least, if you had or have right now a routine, don't stop, don't slow down. And if you've seen the mindset stuff that I mentioned before, look at that material again and reread your purpose. Reread, like, what is the vision for your health? What is the vision for the future you? The reasons why you're doing this, not only like the goals that you set up, but also the vision and the reasons why you told yourself that you couldn't give up. Okay. And I know that all these distractions and food and confusion and cold and shorter days will all make you forget about the real reason why you started this. And again, go back to that first material up before you start any programs. Just make sure you have that very, very clear where you're going. And you know, when I come up with this thing about goal setting and mindset stuff, it's not because I'm saying this because I'm a fitness guru. It's because I know for sure that this will serve you well, and especially when you less feel like it, as it is the case probably now with some of you guys that have this break of motivation towards the end of the year, which is completely normal. I'm not saying this like in a bad way. And just to give you an example, it happens to me as well. Like last week on Thursday, I slept 3 hours in that night, and I worked all day. It was 7 p.m. I had a little bit of a headache. I was tired. It was dark already. I was around the fireplace. It was very cozy inside. The last thing I wanted was to go and do a workout. The last thing I wanted was to go and get my trainers and go outside to the cold and commute to the gym to do my workout, which wasn't very exciting. It was the back and biceps workout, and I have a little injury recently here in the bicep brachialis, just a tiny muscle here, and it's painful for me. So the last thing that I wanted to do last Thursday was to go for a work, but I did it anyway because I knew that I could skip. I can skip this and do it tomorrow and do it over the weekend. But the reason why I didn't do it, it was because like if I had skipped, I knew that further ahead I would find another excuse to skip another one in 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, okay? And I would be skipping stuff, and that's unacceptable because it's not the standard that I set for myself. And I don't want this to be the standard that you set for yourself as well. So you need to learn how to show up when you don't want to. You need to be there when life goes well and you're not tired, but also when life doesn't go well and you're tired. And the same thing when at work, when your team at the hotel and restaurant, when your team is understaffed, you still need to show up. And the same when you have those stressful weeks in hospitality where all you want to do is give up and walk out of the door, you still need to show up. And look, we're in a period of history where it seems like there's mental illness and mental depression all over the place. And maybe you're watching this and you're one of the people that are not in the best place right now. And look, I get it. I also had a lot of periods in life where I was not in the best place. But I know that being healthier overall and improving yourself physically and psychologically will obviously help with that. And mental illness is something that is normalized these days. But maybe doing exercise and losing that weight is your key out of that hole that you're in. And giving up, I know that giving up is definitely not how you're going to solve your problem and your situation if you're one of these people that are in this situation, okay? And that leads me to the next question. What can you do right now and go against all odds and improve before the new year, okay? And the best thing that you can do for yourself right now, if you want to not only mitigate the risks, but also improve dramatically before the new year, is to actually start a health and wellness routine and have some kind of initiative towards that before the end of the year. And I've said this before in one of the lives, this is the best time to start, because if you don't start right now, you'll want to start in January with an extra 10 pounds of your additional on your waist. And we all know what happens to 90% of people that start in January. You'll see everyone else starting. You'll want to start too, and you'll be like, poof. And you know what happens to everyone that starts in January, right? They relapse after a couple of months. every year. So in order for you not to be one of them, not to be one of those New Year's sayers that say, I'm going to do it this year and never does it, what is it that you need to do? You need to start right now. You need to start before the New Year's. You need to go through this difficult period. I don't think it's difficult. I think it's just colder. But you got to win this couple of weeks. And then when the year starts, you're already on fire. You're already all set up with the program laid out, and you can march forward towards a superior health, a superior version of you that you actually enjoy, to being better at work and making more money in consequence of that. Because when you're happy, you have more opportunities, and if you have more opportunities, you'll have more chances to make more money and get more promotions. Okay. And I know that it's pretty goddamn scary to start anything in November, but nobody said that you need to go all in your first 5 minutes. Okay. Just start with something small. Start with the goals and the mindset, like write those down, get yourself some small wins, start being a little bit active, and go through the Christmas period saying, my New Year's resolution is now. Because if it's not now, it's never the right time. And don't be that person. Don't be that person that says you're going to do something and then doesn't do it, because this will withdraw self-confidence for yourself, which will affect you in other areas of life. Okay. People think that they can go against their word and have no consequences, because it's not a priority when it comes like these things in health. But there's always consequences. And the obvious one is that, how can you trust yourself when you repeatedly said that you're going to do something and then you never do it? And this is something to think about, okay? And to wrap up, if you need any advice on how to start losing weight pre-Christmas, if you need any motivation, feel free to reach out. I'm here in this community to serve you, and I'm quite happy to do so. And so if this was a valuable masterclass for you, drop me a like. If this was useful, if you find valuable in this, if you didn't, drop me a like. At least if you think my joke at the beginning of this session was funny. If you think that was a funny joke, just drop me a like. If you don't think it was funny, if you don't think it was valuable, just feel free not to drop any like, because I won't get sad. But do come over next week, because next week we're going to have a very exciting guest here in the masterclass that we're going to interview. We're going to have a hotel manager here, and he's going to share his awesome experience and an impressive turnaround on his weight and health. He works 12 hours a day, just like many of you, and he's completely killing it. And you don't want to miss the next Wednesday masterclass. All right. So that's all for today. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next week for another one.